The movie surrounds a high school girl named Minsun. Because of her appearance, she is frequently bullied in school by popular kids. Her only friend is Minji, but before knowing her in high school, Minsun had no one to talk to for the 16 years of her life. Hence, she created an imaginary friend named Enor who manifests in front of her when she is alone and needs a friend to talk to. One morning, Minsun is getting ready for school while Enor keeps her company. She is overly excited about nothing because her guts tell her something wonderful is about to happen today. Enor praises her optimism but asks her to hurry, as a good imaginary friend would. On her way to the school, Minsun is approached by Minji. They talk about a new comic that Minsun managed to land the last copy of. Surprisingly enough, Minsun's favorite character is not the hero but the antagonist. She finds the character attractive because he is passionate about what he does. This resonates with her real life as Minsun has a crush on a guy similar to the villain in the comic. His name is Hote, the popular kid who everyone is afraid of. Coincidentally, just as she is thinking of him, he approaches her and hands her a keyring that fell off her bag. This is the first time a guy is being nice to Minsun, and she is especially happy that he is her crush. Hote asks her to be careful and walks away. When alone, Minsun meets Enor again. He can see how much she likes Hote but doesn't comment anything about the guy. Minsun, on the other hand, is over the moon, positive that many nice things are coming her way. Later that day, she and Minji meet at a cafe. Minji seems to be bothered by something but Minsun doesn't notice it. They continue reading comics when a group of 3 bullies approaches them. Minsun knows they bring trouble, so she tries her best to mind her own business, but they take the comic away and refuse to return it. The meanest girl from the group is Momo. She says she wants to borrow the comic and keep it for the next 10 years. When Minsun speaks up for herself, they threaten to kill her on the way home. Things start to get out of hand, but just then comes Hote on Minsun's aid. His father is a businessman whose influence makes even the bullies fear him. Hote beats up the guy in their group and sends them away. He also gives Minsun his number so she can call him if they trouble her again. After school, Minsun is going through Hote's social media, fawning over his pictures. After finding out what happened today, even Enor believes Hote has feelings for his friend. As they chat about him, his name flashes on Minsun's phone, and rushes to meet him outside. When asked why he called, Hote confesses that he likes her and wants to take her out on a date. Minsun doesn't believe him at first, unused to male attention. But as Hote leans in for a kiss, her dream becomes a reality. Minsun closes her eyes waiting, but the kiss never comes. Instead, Hote takes a picture of her most vulnerable self and makes fun of her. It is then revealed that he never liked her and was only being nice for a prank. The bullies join him, laughing at Minsun for thinking that she had a chance with someone like Hote. He is not just a bad person but also a sociopath. He rules over the school and uses his father's influence to terrorize people for fun. He wants Minsun to take on the responsibility of his slave. She must come to him whenever he demands, and he can do whatever he pleases with her. Minsun is still in shock, but she knows her life is going to turn into hell from now on. Moreover, it is revealed that Minji was also in on the bullies' plan because she was threatened. The scene cuts to a month later. Minsun turned her phone off and hasn't been out of the house after the bullying incident. She sleeps all day, drowning in depression. Her only companion is her imaginary friend, and he, too, is tired of seeing her like that. One day, he introduces her to the concept of revenge. The poor girl never thought going against the bullies was possible, but Enor motivates her enough to do something about her life. In the following montage, Minsun changes her lifestyle completely. She manages her diet and exercises to lose weight. Not just that, but she wraps herself with tape and suffocates for hours, driven by the will to take revenge. Apart from her weight, she focuses on changing her attitude and gaining more confidence through several courses. Exactly a year later, Minsun is a changed person. She is thinner and the most confident she has ever been. But she cannot help but be nervous since it is the time to finally face her fears. The first person she goes for is Yongjae, the least important member of the bully group. She starts by hitting him and pretending to have mistaken him for someone else. Yongjae instantly falls for her charisma now that Minsun is conventionally attractive. They flirt for a while before exchanging numbers. Yongjae is over the moon while Minsun is ready for the next part of the plan. Later that day, Hotae notices Yongjae looking at his phone frequently. He doesn't allow any of his close mates to do things without notifying him first. They aren't even allowed to be in a relationship without his permission, but they put up with his demands to stay on his good side. Upon realizing that something is off about Yongjae, Hotae jokingly threatens to kill his girlfriend if he has one in secret. Min-ji still works as a slave for the group and buys things for them. This time, she forgets to bring cigarettes, angering Momo. The last member of the group is Mina, the kindest one of the lot who wants to forgive Min-ji. Hotae registers that she always interrupts when they are bullying people and warns her to be careful. When he is not around, Yongjae calls Minsun and they meet again. Minsun is shocked at how differently he talks to her than he used to. The change in behavior angers her as she remembers how miserable she was because of him only a year ago. Yongjae tells her that he likes her but she rejects him, saying that she is in need of 1 million won and cannot be distracted. The next day, Yongjae sells his phone and gaming console to get the money for her. Minsun is taken aback, but the gesture angers her even more. She says that she will return the money after 10 years, mimicking their words to her. Yongjae still doesn't get the hint and is shocked when she throws the money at him and walks away. He quickly stops her, asking her the reason she is rejecting him. Minsun truthfully claims that she despises all bullies and he is one of the known ones in the school. In reply, Hotae says he will leave the group and change if it means she will accept him. In the following scene, Min-ji is again troubled by the group. Yongjae approaches them, asking her to go away. An angered Hotae inquires what he is doing and is surprised to find out he wants to leave the group. Just when things get heated, Minsun comes to Yongjae and makes up an excuse to save him. Hotae is instantly alarmed by her presence but thinks she is stunning. To spite Yongjae, he is extra friendly to Minsun and even asks her for her number. Momo is not happy about the interaction because she is in love with Hotae and they have been in a relationship for a month now. When Hotae asks Minsun for her number, Yongjae comes in between and drags her away. He doesn't like that she interfered in his matter but Minsun hugs him and makes him forget about it. She claims to be 10% in love with him as a joke so he would work harder to make her fall completely in love. At night, Enor asks Minsun if she is doing okay. The change in her attitude has also turned her somewhat heartless, which worries him. However, Minsun doesn't see any problem with what she is doing and is happy to use Yongjae for her benefit. Enor sees how different she is from a year ago and the story goes into a flashback. After trying several ways to lose weight, including the tape method, Minsun had still not made progress. Then one day, Hotae came to visit her, worried that she hadn't come to school in more than 2 months. He found out about her little revenge plan and made fun of it. He made her believe that being thinner or more confident will never change who she is from the inside. She will always be their punching bag, a loser that no one likes. The visit made Minsun go into another spiral of depression and she ended up committing the unthinkable. During her funeral, a miracle happened and her sister Sei saw Enor for the first time. She used to live afar and never knew what Minsun was going through. Upon finding out about the bullies, she made it her mission to take revenge for her sister's death. Hence, the confident person who returned to school was not Minsun but her sister Sei. A few days later, Sei meets Hotae. She says that Yongjae is just a friend and tries to seduce him. She wants them to fight and end each other without her having to do anything to break them. They exchange phone numbers and decide to go out someday. Sei then goes on a date with Yongjae, waiting for Hotae to call her phone in front of him. She brings him to his house and he tries to kiss her while watching the TV. The phone rings at the right time and Yongjae sees Hotae calling her. She picks it up and agrees to go out with him the next day. Yongjae is stunned but Sei recovers by lying that she was forced to give him her number and she doesn't want to meet him either. Yongjae believes her and grows more hateful of his former best friend. He promises to get rid of Hotae at any cost, much to Sei's delight. In the evening, he calls Hotae in an alleyway, ready to hit him with a baseball bat. But, taking him by surprise, someone else knocks him out before he does anything. A week passes with no sign of Yongjae. Sei is worried that her plan might have failed after so much work. She still has to go out with Hote and is terribly nervous given their history. Momo finds out about this on her and Hote's 2-month dating anniversary. To apologize for forgetting, Hote gives her a golden lighter as a gift. Still, Momo is not someone who lets things slide that easily. She gathers up a few men and goes to teach Sei a lesson for hitting on her boyfriend. The interaction is cut short when Sei tases Momo and strangely enough, the guys do nothing. She leaves the bully with a final warning, asking her to never bother her again. Similarly, Mina, who is the kind one in the group, apologizes to Sei on her own. Sei lets her go because she was never really mean to her anyway. Now, the only person left to deal with is Hote. In the next scene, we see a fight between Hote, Enor, and Sei. They stab each other, causing everyone's death. Suddenly, the scene changes to a psychiatric hospital. Enor is a doctor treating Sei for her multiple personality disorder. In a wild turn of events, it is revealed that Hote and the bullies never existed, they were personalities derived from Sei herself. Last year, Sei's disorder grew intense and she turned into a violent persona brought out as Hote. Unable to suppress the persona, she killed her sister Minsun. Eventually, she realized what she did, and was struck by guilt. To avoid taking responsibility, she made up the entire story about Minsun getting bullied so she would be a hero in her story, not a murderer who killed her own sister. All this time, she thought Enor was her imaginary friend because he would interrupt her dream world, but in reality, he was her doctor. In real life, he reveals that he has been able to get rid of all of Sei's personality except for Hote. If she doesn't get him out of her head, she will be locked away for life. A few days after Sei is informed of this, Hote's personality disappears completely. Enor thinks his treatment worked and Sei is given little jail time considering her sickness. In the last scene, Sei is out of jail talking to Enor about life. She shows him a lighter, similar to the one Hote gave Momo when they last met. Enor looks at it in shock, realizing that the killer in Sei is still present somewhere inside her.